dessert show that's going to take the fear out of bacon for you. We've got two special guests in the house tonight. We've got Mann from Beluga Heights, Island Mercury Records, and we also have Shorty from the Lynch Mob. Welcome, guys. Come on in. Hey. Welcome to my kitchen. Welcome to Kimmie's kitchen. Yeah. Well, tell me, what's going on with you? What's going on in your lives?
Well, right now I'm working on my debut album, Man's World, tentatively called, and we just dropped a single, Text, on the radio.
Like text?
Yeah, Text.
And
right now it's doing really well on radio, and we're about to start the tour just to introduce Man to the people, and hopefully everything goes well.
That sounds fabulous.
Yeah,
what about you, Shorty? What's happening with you?
Hey, doing a lot. Got a lot on my plate. Doing a lot of work in the community. Working with the gangs and different community activists and whatnot in the communities. And doing our thing like that. And music-wise, we in the studio working on some things. Basically doing a lot of production, helping brothers like Man here. Up and coming artists and whatnot. And hey, it's nice.
All right, everything sounds fabulous.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, I know two hearty guys like you. Chocolate chip cookies have to be something that you like, yes?
For sure.
Yeah, chocolate chip
Got
cookies.
milk?
We got milk. We do have milk. Well, first of all, let's talk about what we're going to have. We need the ingredients, our key ingredients for our chocolate chip cookies. Now, this right here is, of course, our just brown sugar. We got our brown sugar here. We got some granulated sugar. It's just regular white sugar. Okay. This right here is our all-purpose flour, just regular all-purpose flour. I like to use unbleached flour. Okay. That's just my personal preference. Yeah. Because there's many chemical stuff that you can not have in your body. I think it's the better, yeah? Now, this is a mixture of butter and margarine. See, because I like to do both. You can do one or the other, like you can do 8 ounces of margarine or 8 ounces of butter, but I choose to kind of do a half and half and kind of get the butter flavor, but keep my girl straight.
Okay.
You understand?
I was going to ask you, what's the difference?
That's what it's about. That's what it's about. All right, we've got 2 eggs. And we also have this right here is oatmeal basically, but it's ground up fine. And it's almost like a powder consistency, almost like a flour. I use this for texture. It also keeps the chocolate chips moist. Okay. That way they don't dry out and become hard or anything. All right, we've got salt. This is baking soda, and this right here is baking powder. Okay. We use both of them. Okay. That just kind of helps the cookies to rise and become a little bit bigger. And then, of course, we've got our chocolate chips. And then, there's no cookie without a nice little flavor, so we got a nice little vanilla extract right there.
Let's do it.
And then what we do is we use our mixer, for kitchen purposes. I know, old school, you can just get the bowl, get a little elbow grease, right, put that butter up in there. But, this is kitchen. This is Kimmie's kitchen. We got to make it easy. So we're going to use our wonderful mixer here. And then we just need our standard bowl. And, hey, do me a favor, hand me that blue spatula right there. Just the blue tip one. You see that one right there? And this is our wonderful spatula. We're just going to use that to kind of get all of our ingredients out of the bowl. Got our nice little measuring spoon. And this right here is called a bowl scraper. It's kind of a bowl scraper.
Almost like
right. But this is the clean way though, shorty. You don't want nobody get it. So it just basically cleans that batter right out of that bowl. Of course, people are going to be mad at you though. Because, they don't have the whole lick the bowl thing. But, we try to say. That's how it is, right? All right. So tell me, Man, how did you get started?
Well, I started off acting at first, and I just, really loved to perform. So at a young age, I was doing movies and all that, and then my mom put me into this acting school, Amazing Grace Conservatory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was a great place. I grew up there, basically, met a lot of people.
Great.
And, there I realized I like doing music as well. So I started doing music, started performing all around LA. And somebody came to one show and found me and was just like, yo, I love you. I love your energy. And he loved how the girls reacted to me.
Oh,
in the crowd. Yeah.
The girls didn't like it.
Right. So he just,
he's the man.
Thank you, Short. He's the man. That's right. He's the man.
And so he just liked my whole style. And then he brought me to J.R. Rodham, who made I brought a song for him. He remade the song and put Sean Kingston on it. It was called Jerkin. And Jerkin was in LA. It was before Jerkin blew up.
That's a big go now, right?
It's money. So, we was the first with the song, so we introduced it to labels, and labels loved it. Got a bit more, and then ended up at Mercury Def Jam.
That's great. That's great. What about you, Shorty? What's going on?
Oh, well,
how'd you get started?
Basically, we got started when once Ice Cube and NWA did the split, and Cube, ventured on his own, doing his own independent thing. He basically pulled myself, JD, T-Bone, Jinx, Yo-Yo, Chili Chill.
Wow.
And you know, a few more artists. Katie, I can name a whole bunch more. But he basically formulated his own street knowledge production and started the Lynch Mob. And from there, we all helped him produce, you know, the albums that you see out there now. Back in the early 90s and whatnot. That era. So basically, that's how we got started.
Well, guys, I got started a little ahead of time, but I'm gonna let you know what I did. What I did was I creamed together the butter and the sugar. Now, creaming basically helps you just blend it all together. That way, it's nice and even. You don't have like lumps of brown sugar everywhere, clumps of butter. It helps it to be all blended nice and even. And now, what I just did was I added our 2 eggs right into the mixing thing with the butter, and I also added our vanilla extract. All right, guys, so let's continue with our recipe. What we're going to do is we're going to add our flour, and this is when we're going to add our oats. We add that with this. This is kind of like our dry ingredients section. You know how you guys have like a little mixture section? So when we mix
that's the dry section.
It's the dry section, right? That's what we're going to get all that out of there. So we're just going to use our little finger and just kind of like make sure that come out the bowl, because we're going to need all of that. That's what makes the cookies rise. All right. And what we're going to do is I just like to kind of whisk it up. You know, make sure it's all blended well. And then we're going to add this to our butter and sugar and egg and vanilla mixture. So what kind of advice do you have, Mann, for young, aspiring young artists like yourself that want to be a rapper or actor or just a wonderful, wonderful young person like you?
I mean, for rapping, like, especially, I think, like, a lot of people say, like, you know, never give up, and I'm a firm believer in that, but I think a big thing also that people don't say is to stay active in doing it and make sure that people see you doing it.
Okay.
Because I feel like, you know, you never know who will know and who has the connections that can help you out. That's true. You know, in this game, it's a lot of connections and a lot of relationships. So I feel like you just should be out and doing it, and if you're doing something, don't be afraid to share it with people.
Okay.
I think that, you know,
that's good advice too.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Shorty? What kind of advice do you have for these nice, inspiring young artists that, especially because you work with them, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So what daily you're talking to them and inspiring them on a daily basis. So what is it that you usually tell them?
I strongly suggest make sure that you get you a strong legal team.
Okay.
You know, because in contracts, one little word on the contracts can change your whole everything.
Ooh, okay.
You know, and I strongly suggest that to any up and coming artist. Make sure that
they have somebody that knows how to dot the I's and cross the T's.
Yes. Learn the business.
Yeah.
Don't just look at yourself as an artist or as a rapper or whatever it is you're doing.
Right.
Learn the business of whatever it is you're doing. That way, when you're going in and dealing with your legal team, you kind of know how things is going to go.
Right.
You know, you're not going to be blindsided or get surprised when things don't go your way.
Exactly. I love that because it is show business, right?
Yes, business. All business.
Now this is Shorty's favorite part right here.
Can
Is
I
this your
get
favorite?
like 5?
Okay.
I'll just take one.
Just don't help yourself. You want one too?
I don't want to get too greedy.
Okay, here we go. We're gonna put this in here. We're gonna put our chocolate chips in. That's like 12 ounces because that's usually a standard package.
You ain't got no more to put?
Oh, you like overly chocolate chip. You like chocolate and chip cookies. Yeah. So we just kind of mix that in. We don't want to do it too much because you're gonna break up your chips.
Right.
You know, then next thing you know, you got chocolate cookies. You know, I don't know chocolate chip cookies. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just take that and get as much of that batter off of there as we possibly can. That's some good stuff right there. See, you add that to some ice cream. That's some.
Yeah, that's gonna be my next question.
That's some cookies. That's some cookies.
I said milk earlier.
We got milk. Now we have milk. We got some milk. So this is what we do. I take my little baking sheet here, my parchment paper. That keeps it all nice and clean when it comes out of the oven. We don't have to overly scrub that.
Right.
Our cookies come straight off of there. And this is basically like a little mini ice cream scoop. Yeah. And so it works perfectly because usually they used to tell you drop cookies. You used to have 2 spoons, old school way. You drop the 2 spoons and half your stuff be all on your fingers. No, this way is neater. See, you just go look at that. Look at that. Look at that. You see that? Look at that perfect little cookie. Oh, like that. See, just like ice cream. All right, we're gonna mix it. Just make enough that we can have like a dozen. And that way, you want to spread them out and make sure that they spread out really well. Give them enough room in between each other. Okay. Just like that. You want to handle this, young?
I can
brother,
do that.
can you do that? Okay, let's see your scooping skills. Yeah, just get put it on down. Okay, yeah, you got it a little close.
Yeah,
I'm gonna fix it though. Yeah, see, that's perfect. That's a perfect scoop though. That's perfect. Just go. We're gonna move that one down though. We're gonna move that one down a little bit. See, that was perfect. That was perfect scoop though. Shorty, you wanna try this one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get
harder than it
Shorty.
looks.
Let's get Shorty. He's always says harder than it looks. Yeah, just lay it on down. Lay it on down. And okay, yeah, Shorty got it. He had a whole little master plan behind here. See, but it's just like a quick wrist, just a little wrist action going on.
Got to do it fast. Huh?
You gotta do it fast. You gotta do it fast because you want your cookies to come out.
Mm-hmm.
So we do it like that. Sometimes it takes a little more than just one click. You gotta click them a couple of times. Or you can still do it the old-fashioned way with the 2 spoons, or 1 tablespoon.
I think this looks faster.
That looks faster.
Yeah.
And it just depends on how large you want your cookies too.
Okay.
All right, so we're just gonna put that in the oven, and that's gonna bake at 375 degrees, and we're gonna bake that for about 10 minutes, 11 minutes.
Okay.
The cookies. What happens? They're gonna come out, and you'll see how beautiful.
I
And
just can't wait to taste them.
well, we're gonna taste the cookies. Now here at Kimmie's Kitchen, what we like to do is a thing called 6 degrees of dessert. And what we want to do is we want to take the basic of our dessert, which today happens to be chocolate chip cookies, and we want to show how you can make like 6 degrees of that particular recipe. Well, of course, our first degree is going to be the regular just chocolate chip cookies. Now, our second degree is going to be wonderful butterscotch chips. If you add this with some walnuts, that'll make a nice little butterscotch walnut cookie. Really great around the holiday time, especially for around Thanksgiving, Christmas. Now, of course, a lot of people love white chocolate, and who can't resist white chocolate and macadamia nuts together, okay? Great combination, and with that one batter, we can make those wonderful white chocolate and macadamia chips cookies. Now, this right here is just a mixture of just different chocolates. We've got semi-sweet, we've got milk chocolate, and we've got dark chocolate, all just kind of chunked up, which I like to just call chocolate chunk cookies, yeah, right? And you just throw it in there. Now, hey, nuts, no nuts, that's your preference, right? Now, if you add a little peanut butter, this little peanut butter here, and you add just the regular semi-sweet chocolate chips, or even milk chocolate chips, you can have yourself almost a little, little peanut butter chocolate butter thing delight. It happens to be my favorite candy, that little peanut butter with the chocolate. Ooh, I love that. So this kind of gives you a little take on that little peanut butter cup. And then we've got the wonderful toffee chips that we're also going to add with our chocolate bar, chopped up almonds and chocolate bar. Is that to die for? That's our 6 degrees of Kimmie's Kitchen. And welcome back to Kimmie's Kitchen. And we've got today Mr. Mann and we've got Shorty, both rappers here in the wonderful national artists here representing. Yes. So guys, if you had to rate your baking skills, let's say from gold to platinum, what do you think you would be?
I don't think I would. I'll be a flop artist. For real.
Really?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, growing up seeing moms baking and all that. It's like you would think that I would know some skills, but cooking, that's a different story.
Oh, you can cook. Okay
Yes,
now.
ma'am.
So if I add a little, you make the stuff and I bring the dessert.
All you got to do is call me.
All right now.
Just
I'm
can't
gonna
go
holler. Okay, we're gonna have to holler on that. All right, so man, what do you think? If you had to rate your baking skills, what would it be?
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah? No gold, no platinum?
No, I want to learn.
Just a regular
I want to
CD.
learn. I will get there. Maybe my second album, but right now.
Okay, just a regular CD right now.
Yeah,
huh?
right now I'm just. Yeah.
Are you still on cassettes?
Yeah. I haven't
No,
really.
you got at least make a CD, right? Yeah. Okay.
I'm wood.
So now we are about to partake on some wonderful chocolate chip cookies. Gentlemen, are you guys ready?
Yes.
Let's check this out. Let's see what we got going on up in here. Ooh.
Yeah. Feel it.
Ooh, I did myself up in here. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right there. Ooh, see that? It's a little hot. I don't want you to burn yourself. I don't want you to burn yourself. But that is it, guys. That's our chocolate chip
Wow.
cookies. Isn't that great? Isn't that beautiful?
That's beautiful.
That's a beautiful thing.
Now we have to test it.
We're gonna test it. We're gonna test it. But first, we're gonna talk about the 6 degrees. Okay. So we've got some 6 degrees. You see that big giant monstrosity?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our triple chunk. That's the one I was talking about earlier. That's got a little dark chocolate,
Right.
milk chocolate, and it's got the semi-sweet chocolates. And it's all chunked up, ready to partake. This right here is just our regular, already baked. See, I figured you was gonna want to get into that. So we've got that right there going on right there. This right here is our butterscotch chip, and we've got those are a little bit of white almond. We've got the white macadamia and almonds going on here. And then here we've got the wonderful peanut butter and the chocolate ones going on right in there. And then the mixture over here too is I see over here we've got that almond, the almond with the chocolate almond and the vanilla, the brickle ones,
Okay,
coffee
right. Okay,
brickles.
the one, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we're working with here. I got your milk. You ready?
milk.
We got milk. Milk does a what? Body good. Well, all right, guys. Here's your plates.
Thank you, man.
I just say whatever you want to do, just dig on in there and let it happen. You know, here we go. Look here. Let's pass this down. Get that to my junk.
I don't pass.
Oh, he's like that, man. That's all right, man. You take this plate for yourself, baby. You don't want to share. Ooh, don't want to share. Wyman, you know what? Play us something nice because I got somebody up here that don't want to share. We thank you for being with us this evening, and we're gonna get down with some chocolate chip cookies and. I guess if Shorty share with everybody else. We'll see you next time.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got all of them.
Just hand me that big one. Y'all can have
All right. Here, look at this thing. Here, take this plate. Really, Shorty. Give me your share. Okay. You want some milk? Here at Kimmie's Kitchen, we always want to give you a technique term, something that you use all the time in baking. This week's we're going to talk about creaming. Basically what that is just basically butter or shortening or any fat ingredient that gets melded into sugar. And what it does is it traps in the air. And when that air is trapped in that cookie with the creaming process, it then expands during baking. And that helps the cookie to rise or the cake to rise or anything that you're doing to rise, and it gives you a better technique, better texture, and gives you a better product. Creaming is just something simple here at Kimmie's Kitchen.